Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of Breaking Bread with Fred. My name is Fred, and this is really my video journey of really the start of me trying to flip the script in my life to really come from being a negative person over to being a more positive person that I know that I can be. One of the things that this journey is going to document, I hope, is to serve as what got me negative in the first place. And then how can I flip the script into being a more positive person that I know on the inside I really am. Let me start today with telling you a story about when I grew up in a town in Georgia. I was a little boy, little kid, and mom and dad would often take us shopping downtown. There were various stores that I remember. One of the stores I remember was called Woolworth. It was kind of a large 3-floor department store. And on rare occasions, mom and dad would go shopping together. He would go and get some things, and mom would go and get some things. And back then, from my generation, I'm old enough to remember we got the speech before we went into the store. You probably got something like it. We're about to go into the store. Don't touch nothing. Don't ask for nothing, because you ain't getting nothing. Do you understand me? Yes. And stay with me and do not get lost. Everybody understand? Yes. Okay, we went into the store. And so we went in, and it didn't take very long for me. And I guess I was probably maybe 5, 6, 7, somewhere up in there, very young. And I got separated from my parents. I told mom I was going to be with dad. Dad took me to an area where he was shopping. He told me to stay in a certain place, and naturally, like any good kid, I didn't do it. And before long, I got lost. I looked around, and that was a sick feeling. You look around, you don't know anybody, and you really just you defied the rules. You remember what your parents told you, and it's a sick feeling. And I remembered we would always go to this one cashier, and I remember thinking mom and dad would always talk to this cashier, and she was very friendly, and she always said, if you need anything, you come back and you see me. So I look around, and I'm not too far from the cashier that I recognized, and I go back, and she recognized me. And where are your parents? I said, I don't know. I've lost my parents. She said, well, take my hand and let's go and see if we can find them. And we go around a corner and we look, and there's my dad. And I just run over and I run over to my dad, and he tells her thank you. And he looks at me with that stern, scolding look, like he really wanted to tear me in 2 pieces, but he's glad that I'm okay. And I told him, I said, Dad, I'm sorry. I didn't listen to what you said. I got lost, and it will not happen again. And my dad looked at me with eyes that I had never seen before, and he said, Junior, you were never lost, and you were never alone. I was looking at you around the corner. You couldn't see me, but I could see you. And I just wanted to see how you would handle things. You did okay. You were never in any real danger. And that was a very dark time in my life as a child, feeling very lost. And it kind of reminds me of some other dark times that's been in my life. And I've always thought back to what is it that I want during those dark times in my life. And I just wanted peace, I just wanted comfort. I just wanted help. And it reminds me of a quote that I read. And the quote says, dark times may feel overwhelming, but they won't last forever. Even in uncertainty, hope shines. One of the things I'm looking at in my life right now, and I'm really thinking about and even praying about, is who do I trust when dark times come in my life? Do I trust myself? Do I trust my so-called friend? Do I trust in my faith in God? And how does that speak to how I communicate to others and myself about dark times? I have noticed that when I'm going through dark times in my life, I'm usually the hardest on me, people around me. I don't mean to be, but that speaks to that negativity that comes as a result of that. And I like this quote because just because you're going through dark times doesn't mean that dark times are going to last forever. We need to maintain a framework, and I need to maintain a thinking that there is hope and something better that's coming on the other side. So I've got 3 action steps that I'm putting into practice this week that really I think should help me flip the script and improve my attitude so that people around me won't have to suffer just because I'm going through some dark times. Because that's usually a pattern with us, isn't it? That's usually a pattern that when I'm hurting, I hurt other people. You've heard it said like this: hurt people hurt people. Now, we don't mean to, but we often do. And I want to flip the script to that in my own life. I want to change it, and I want to be more positive. And let's do something like this. How about healed people heal people? So I'm going to give you 3 takeaways that I'm going to do in my own life. And I hope this helps you flip the script when it comes to being a more positive person. Number 1, let's take life one step at a time. And let's realize that strength grows through each challenge. I didn't realize it then, but I realize it now. As I was a little boy, and when I got lost, I had enough sense to at least maintain my composure and go find a familiar face and open my mouth and ask for help. You know, that worked when I was a little boy, and somewhere along the line, maybe I forgot about it now. Because there's a lot of times where even though I'm in the midst of dark times, I don't open my mouth. I don't ask for help. And the people around me often suffer. There's a book that I read some time back, and I don't remember who the author was. But the one line from this book, I think it was on leadership, said, life is about taking one step at a time and then course correcting. You know, isn't that the truth? You take one step at a time, you evaluate where you are, you look at that step and say, did it help? Do I need to go left? Do I need to go right? So in life, we got to take it one step at a time and then course correct, because we're not going to get it right all the time, are we? But what we learn from the process is that we just need to keep going. The second thing I'm going to lean on more is realize what my dad told me when I was younger. See, I'm never alone. I need to seek support. I need to seek help. I need to ask for help, lean on my faith, or trust in brighter days ahead. I need to be more optimistic in spite of the circumstances that might be going on around me. Just because I'm having a bad day doesn't mean that everybody around me should be having a bad day. And to be honest with you, I'm at the point in my life right now of taking that expression bad day out of my entire vocabulary. Think about it. How can 24 hours be good or be bad? No, it's how we look at or how we handle. It's how we say about or deal with those 24 hours. So I'm about ready to say there's no such thing as a good day or a bad day. It's just a day. What determines its outcome is me and how I look at it. Number 3, something that I'm going to work on, and I am in the process of working on, is we got to keep moving, because realize it or not, we are stronger than we give ourselves credit. There's a scripture in the Bible that I really like in 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 6 and 7. Peter says, in all this you greatly rejoice, though now for a little while you may have had to suffer grief of all kinds, trials of all kinds. Verse 7 says, these have come so that the proven genuineness of your faith, greater than gold which perishes even though refined by fire, may result in praise and glory and honor when Jesus Christ is revealed. What does that mean? That means that gold doesn't automatically just form to become a pure metal without the absence of some pressure, some heat, some hard times. Kate Mulgrew, again, you know by now I'm a huge Star Trek fan. Kate Mulgrew said when she was working on Voyager, she was working 16, maybe 17 hours a day. She worked maybe 6 days a week. And at the same time, she raised 2 children. And she said in an interview that I saw that that was the toughest, most rewarding time of her career. She's since gone on to do a number of other things. But she said, looking back on that, her big takeaway was we are capable of so much more than we think we are. And isn't that true? I mean, just because we're in the midst of a hard time or in the midst of some trials, when you come through that trial, truthfully, you look back on it, and if you assess it right and ask, what have you learned? Really, we're stronger than what we think. I like the quote, and I'll end with this, by Vincent Van Gogh. He said, great things are not done by impulse, but by a series of small things brought together. You know, as we move forward and you want to make changes in your life, you want to be a better person. I want to flip the script on being such a negative person in my thinking and sometimes in my speech, in my language, in my actions. We want to flip the script. We got to realize that that change is not going to come all of a sudden. It's like Vincent Van Gogh said, great things are not done by impulse. It's going to take a series of small things brought together to mount permanent and lasting change. And I hope you'll stick with me on this channel as we pull in some other things and talk about some other areas in life where we need to make a change. Why? Because if you are unsettled with the way things are and you're stuck in the rut like I used to be stuck in the rut of negativity, and you want to be a more positive person, a more influential person, stay with me through this. Subscribe to the channel so that we can learn together how to be better people that God and ultimately our society can depend on and benefit from. Until next time, Breaking Bread with Fred, I bid you peace.